The Brain Injury Guide and Resource is a tool for professionals, community members, and family to understand traumatic brain injury, as well as how to promote better living for those who live with a TBI. In this interview, we will talk with John Harper, Assistant Director of Mental Health Services in the Missouri Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, Office of Adult Learning and Rehabilitation. We'll be discussing Division of Vocational Rehabilitation Services for TBI survivors. And John, thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
First of all, what is the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation and what are its primary goals?
Vocational Rehabilitation is the state agency in Missouri administering the federal program under the Rehabilitation Act. The Rehabilitation Act is those services that are provided under the federal law to assist persons with disabilities with going back to work.
Mm-hmm. And what are the types of services provided by your division related to education and then also employment?
Certainly. Well, really the focus, the goal is going to work from our services. And if you can imagine any of the related services that could support going to work, including education. We help people with retraining if need be to go to work, attending college, junior college courses, certificate training programs, and so forth. We also have some very specialized services called supported employment. So let's say an individual is just interested in going back to work. We help them find a job, and we provide something called job coaching services to assist that individual with learning the job again, or having somebody to talk about the relationships while working, all of those activities that a lot of us take for granted.
Mm-hmm. And does your agency work with other agencies that might help people with a TBI?
Certainly. That's one of the keys to the vocational rehabilitation program. Really, administratively, as an agency, federal agency, we've been around, I guess about 85 to 90 years. So we started doing this just after World War I as an agency federally, and really had set the routine of collaborating and coordinating with various agencies across the country. VR initially was working with veterans returning to work and started reaching out really into the educational field, and that's where we're located at the federal program.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And how does a person with a TBI get involved with your organization?
If an individual is interested in our services, they merely need to contact one of our 25 district offices across the state and request to have an appointment with a counselor, and that counselor will walk them through the eligibility process and describe to them the services that they might have available to them to support them to return to work.
How successful is your program, John? Are you able to get people back to work?
Oh, we're highly successful. I'm very proud of the Missouri program. Typically, out of the 85 VR agency, the state of Missouri general program is usually number one or number two in the country. Our success rate typically is around 65% of the individuals that we've provided services to go back to work. Mm-hmm. Very oftentimes those that maybe don't have a job, they usually return back to us because something's going on in their lives. They just can't move forward yet. So they come back and then we're successful with them at a later date.
So is it typically maybe some other organization that refers people to you? Is that how they get to you?
Well, yes, certainly. It's not unusual for individuals that are, especially with traumatic brain injury, their treatment team to contact a VR counselor and bring them into the process very early, just to start creating some relationship with the survivor and the family to have that discussion about employment. One of the things that we very often like to do in the VR agency is try to help that person go back to the job they had previously and retain that job. We can do many things working with the individual as well as the employer to make that transition back to work more effective.
Mm-hmm. What if the individual is not sure if they can go back to work, John? Should they still contact your agency?
Yes, certainly. They should contact our agency. One of the primary services we provide is vocational rehabilitation guidance and counseling. Very oftentimes it becomes a matter of timing for an individual or survivor of traumatic brain injury to make that determination. What's the appropriate point that I need to go back to work? When should I start exploring that? Because there are many factors regarding that, especially fatigue. It's a primary factor.
All right, John Harper, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching this interview on Vocational Rehabilitation Services after TBI, a service of the Brain Injury Guide and Resources.